Millionaire, Elon Musk, shocked, descubriendo Black Homeless Man, hay una secreta. Ethan Chase never thought a random morning pasear por la ciudad puede flipar su vida de repente. The streets around him buzzed like a live wire. Honking cars, shouting vendors, flashing neon signs. The skyline sliced the sky with glass towers, glittering wealth standing shoulder to shoulder, with crumbling brick buildings where shadows lurked. The smell of burnt coffee mixed with a stench of garbage in an odd cocktail of life on the edge. It was the city's brutal truth. Wealth and poverty crashed head-on every single day. Ethan, sharp in his tailored suit, moved through the chaos like he owned it. He was a rising star in tech, charisma dripping from every word he spoke, ideas so bright they could burn through steel. Billion-dollar startups and boardroom conquests were his game. But today, someone was about to shatter his perfect rhythm. On a cold park bench under a But there was an odd stillness about Marcus, a quiet pulse that pulled Ethan closer. "What's your secret?" Ethan blurted, feeling his heart jerk like a trapped animal. Marcus looked up, slow and calm, lips curling into a strange smile. "True wealth," Marcus said low, "hides in secrets no money can buy." The word struck Ethan harder than any boardroom defeat. His breath caught. The city noise blurred. He felt a sudden tightness in his chest. The world constricting to one sharp point. This man was hiding something powerful, something dangerous. Ethan's curiosity exploded. Who was this homeless enigma? Why did his words feel like a warning and an invitation, wrapped in one? He started digging. Behind the threadbare jacket, behind the haunted gaze, Marcus was bound to a hidden past, a family legacy once mighty and feared, now buried under betrayal's dark shadow. A ruthless rival had crushed them, erased their name from history, and left Marcus owning nothing but ghosts. But the deeper Ethan went, the darker the secrets became, and the harder Marcus fought with his inner demons. Torn between a past he couldn't escape and a future that might destroy him, Marcus was a living storm. And then the bombshell. Ethan's own fortune? Suddenly, it wasn't as clean as it seemed. His success, his empire, sat on a foundation shaking with deceit. The two men's fates tangled tighter with every revelation. Whispers followed them, eyes watching, waiting. Danger closed in. Someone wanted their silence. The city itself seemed to hold its breath. Could two men from worlds apart fight the shadows that chase them? Could the truth set them free or bury them under decades of lies? Ethan's hands trembled. Marcus's stare sharpened. In the city that never sleeps, two secrets collided with a violent crack. They stood at the crossroads. Will they uncover the truth before it's too late? Or will the buried past swallow them whole? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Ethan's heart raced. He felt the weight of Marcus's words heavy in the air, like a storm about to break. The city, alive around them, suddenly muted. It was just the two of them, locked in this moment, secrets swirling like leaves caught in a whirlwind. What do you mean, true wealth? What secret do you hold? Ethan pressed, his voice barely above a whisper. Each word felt like a lit match in the darkness surrounding them. A flicker of fear crossed Marcus's face, gone in a heartbeat. You don't want to know, he replied, but something in his voice wavered, hinting at untold stories resting just beneath the surface. Then, with a sudden crack, chaos erupted. A sharp scream sliced through the air. A woman in the park fell to the ground, clutching her chest, her face twisted in pain. People froze. A dog barked furiously. Ethan and Marcus spun toward the scene, shock morphing their expressions. Before they could react, a man in a trench coat materialized from the shadows, moving fast. He knelt beside the woman, assessing the situation. "Call an ambulance!" he shouted. But his eyes darted from side to side, hinting at something more than concern. Something darker. Ethan wanted to help, but a chill gripped him. He sensed danger in the man's presence. "We should go," Marcus urged, grabbing his arm and pulling him back, urgency blazing in his voice. The woman gasped, struggling for breath. The bystanders murmured, eyes shifting nervously. In that chaotic moment, the trench-coated figure dropped something. A small, black device that rolled across the pavement, stopping at Ethan's feet. It blinked red, almost taunting him. "What is that?" Ethan asked, eyes wide. He felt drawn to it, a magnetic pull that made his palms sweat. "Don't touch it!" Marcus shouted, his voice a mix of fear and desperation. But Ethan, confusion swirling in his mind, bent down, reaching for the device. Suddenly, the world exploded in noise. The device detonated, a blinding flash engulfing everything around them. Ethan fell backward as the air cracked with sound and energy. He hit the ground hard, darkness consuming him. When the light faded, he blinked up at the stars, mouth dry and heart pounding. Panic coursed through him. Bodies sprawled around, shocked faces frozen in disbelief. "Marcus!" Ethan called, voice hoarse. No answer. He scrambled to his feet, searching, desperation clawing at him. The trench-coated man, standing over Marcus, a glint of metal in his hand. "Stay back!" the man growled, his eyes ice-cold. Ethan felt his stomach drop. The tension thickened like fog. What was this man doing? Who was he? "Tell him the truth, Marcus," the man ordered, his voice a whip crack in the silent chaos. "Or this is over." Ethan's mind raced. What truth? Everything they'd uncovered, the secrets, the connection. What did it all mean? Suddenly, his own life felt like a fragile glass teetering on the edge of a table. "Marcus," Ethan whispered, panic rising again. The stakes had shifted, and they were no longer just fighting for answers. The world felt like it was closing in, shadows creeping. "Who are you?" Ethan shouted, words filled with defiance. The trench-coated figure leaned closer to Marcus, and Ethan knew whatever was about to happen would change everything. Questions ignited in his mind. Would they be able to uncover the truth, or would secrets bury them alive? The night was far from over. Ethan's heart raced. The traffic noise faded, swallowed by the weight of Marcus's words. The city pulsed around them, but all he could see was Marcus's face. A mask of mystery, hiding truths that could unravel everything he built. True wealth hides in secrets no money can buy. The phrase echoed in Ethan's mind. But suddenly, a shrill siren cut through the air, sending a shiver down his spine. Across the street, a group of men in dark suits rushed towards them. Faces obscured by the shadows of their hats. They moved with an urgency that felt dangerous, their hands tucked inside their jackets. Ethan felt a surge of panic, the kind that prickled at the back of his neck and sent adrenaline pumping through his veins. "Marcus, we need to go, now," he urged, gripping Marcus's arm. But Marcus simply shook his head, eyes narrowing. "No, this is what I've been waiting for." Before Ethan could protest, the leader of the suited men stepped forward, a sneer curling his lips. "There you are. We've been looking for you, Marcus." His voice cut like ice, each word dripped with contempt. Ethan's mind raced, and a shadow of dread washed over him. "What do you want with him?" he demanded, though his voice trembled. The man laughed, a low, chilling sound. "What we want is to settle an old score with your friend here. He thinks he can escape the past." Ethan's heart dropped. He turned to Marcus, confusion and fear mixing in a cruel cocktail. "What are they talking about?" Marcus's expression hardened, the warmth fading. "I thought I could keep you safe from this, Ethan, but it's too late." Suddenly, a sharp crack shattered the air. Ethan's instincts kicked in, and he pushed Marcus aside as a bullet whizzed past, shattering the street lamp above. "Run!" Ethan yelled, grabbing Marcus's hand, but Marcus yanked free. "Stop! You don't understand. This is bigger than us!" Ethan's pulse raced as they ducked behind the bench. "Bigger than us? They're trying to kill you! We can figure this out together!" Marcus's voice dropped to a whisper, filled with a gravity that made Ethan's stomach twist. "This isn't just about me. It's about your empire, Ethan." "What do you mean?" Ethan's breath quickened, panic clawing at his throat. "Your success isn't clean. You were never meant to get where you are without consequence. My family, they knew things about your investors. Dark things." A realization crashed into Ethan like a wave. His mind spiraled. "You're saying this is connected to me? To my success?" "Exactly." Marcus nodded, his gaze flickering towards the men regrouping, balling their fists. "And now they want you just as much as they want me." The world narrowed around those words. His empire built on shadows, a fortune resting on deceit. The men were closing in, a storm gathering. Can they escape? Can the truth about Ethan's past and the real reason behind Marcus's fall be unveiled before the darkness consumes them both? Ethan's thoughts raced, and he grabbed Marcus's collar as the voices of the suited men rose in anger, asserting their authority, snarling promises of retribution. "Together," Ethan declared, adrenaline surging, "we face this together. All in, no secrets left." But in that moment, just as they turned to flee, a second crack echoed through the air. A blinding flash, and then nothing. The chaos of the city faded into a deafening silence. Ethan blinked into the stillness, confusion wrapping around him like a thick fog. The world had exploded into darkness. Not just the chaos of moments before, but a profound absence that gnawed at his gut. "Marcus!" he shouted, panic clawing at his throat. Distant sirens wailed, yet here in this silence, it felt as if time had frozen. He pushed himself up, searching the void, hunger for answers pulling him forward. The trench-coated man was gone, vanished like a nightmare into thin air, leaving a heavy weight in the stillness. "Marcus!" he called again. The shadows seemed to echo his cry, but the answer came not from the darkness, but a low, trembling voice. "Ethan, you need to listen!" Marcus appeared before him, his expression a mix of pain and determination. "We don't have much time." "What happened? Where did he go? We have to get out of here." Ethan's heart hammered against his chest, the urgency of their situation sinking in. They were still in the city, under the glimmering streetlights. Yet it felt like they were adrift in an unseen sea. "No, we can't leave yet." Marcus's gaze pierced through the dusk. "You don't understand. I'm not who you think I am." Ethan felt a twist in his stomach. "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" A long pause. Then Marcus spoke, each word chilling. "I didn't just lose my family when they fell. I lost myself. I was part of a bigger plan. One that ties you and me together in ways you can't imagine." "Stop playing games," Ethan shouted, frustration flaring. "Everything's a mess right now. We need the truth." Marcus took a deep breath, determination hardening his features. "Fine. I was never homeless. I staged all of it. The clothes, the act, everything to draw attention away from me." Ethan felt the floor drop away. "What? Why, you're a con artist?" "A protector," Marcus spat back. "I had to make sure the past didn't come back for both of us. My family, they knew something about the investors behind your empire. Dark things that could ruin you. My family tried to protect me. That's when it all spiraled. I chose the street to protect my secret, but now they found me, and you. You've been lying to me?" Rage bubbled in Ethan's throat. "Why would you do this?" "It was for your safety," Marcus said, desperation threading through his voice. "My family's legacy versus your future. It's all intertwined." Before Ethan could respond, a crack of thunder roared, splitting the night. A flash illuminated Marcus's face. Despair and determination mixing into a storm of emotions. "Marcus!" Ethan managed to shout over the noise, fear creeping in. "What do they want from us?" But then, at the sound of a low growl, the tension turned electric. Marcus's eyes widened, darting back to the street. A black SUV, sleek and ominous, screeched to a halt, tires burning rubber. Men in suits swarmed out, moving with hard purpose, their faces grim, aimed straight at them. "Ethan, run!" Marcus yelled, bravely pushing him away. "Get out of here!" "What? No!" Panic bloomed again inside him. "I can't just leave you." But it was too late. The suited men moved closer, their eyes locked on Marcus, relentless. "Leave him!" One of them snapped. "We just want the truth!" Ethan felt ice run through his veins as something inside him clicked. Something deep and old. He knew this face, this voice. He felt like he'd known him forever. "No!" he whispered, the words slipping from his lips as the man stepped into the light, revealing a cruel smile that sent every instinct screaming. "Hello, Ethan," the man said, smirking. "I've been looking forward to this meeting. What a tangled web we weave, don't we? Recognition hit Ethan like a punch. The world spun. This man wasn't just a stranger. He was part of the very fabric of everything he had built. You? It struck him hard. Like a lightning bolt, the truth unspooled. Threads connected in ways he never saw coming. Now, let's see how deep the roots run. The man stepped closer, and in that moment, the protective layer Marcus had created began to unravel, leaving both of them vulnerable and exposed. A storm of secrets ready to ignite. The future hung in the balance, teetering on a small thread of hope. Could Ethan find a way to survive the dark tide rising around them? The night was still young, mysteries piling up like shadows. Ethan felt the city pulse around him, the heartbeat louder now, each sound heightening the tension. Marcus's gaze held steady, but underneath that calm exterior, Ethan sensed a storm brewing. The words, "True wealth hides in secrets no money can buy," echoed in his mind. They felt like a warning. Reality shifted around the edges, twisting his world into something unrecognizable. A sudden shout shattered the air. "Hey, you!" A figure burst onto the scene. "You need to come with me." She looked terrified, as if the shadows behind her might swallow her whole. "What are you doing?" Ethan stepped forward, his heart racing. "No time," she cried. "Please, just trust me." Marcus narrowed his eyes, the calm facade cracking. "Who are you?" The woman took a shaky breath. I'm a friend. We don't have much time." "They're coming." Ethan glanced around, instinct kicking in. The park was quieter now. People had retreated into the corners. Whispers stirred. Curious glances flicked their way, eyes darting nervously. The air felt electric, charged with anxiety. "What do you mean they're coming?" Suddenly, Marcus stood, his eyes wide, scanning the park. "They?" The chill in his voice sent shivers down Ethan's spine. Before she could reply, a low rumble broke the moment. A heavy black SUV screeched to a halt. Men in dark suits spilled out, a menacing energy crackling between them. Ethan's pulse quickened. He instinctively moved closer to Marcus, sensing the danger radiating off the man. The odds of surviving here were dwindling fast. "Marcus!" one of the men shouted, his voice booming and cruel. "You think you can hide forever? We're not done with you." Marcus's face paled. Memories played behind his eyes like flickering film. Betrayal, shadows, loss. Ethan shifted, his instincts screaming for action. "We need to go," he urged, but Marcus just stood there, trembling slightly, a haunted look in his gaze. Then, without warning, the woman shouted, "Run!" before sprinting toward the nearest street. Marcus hesitated, torn between the past and an uncertain future. Suddenly, a blinding flash lit the air. It was so bright, it was almost painful. Ethan shielded his eyes, heart pounding. A violent explosion ripped through the park, sending debris flying, screams piercing the air. Marcus was thrown back, hitting the pavement with a jarring thud. Ethan dove down to him, panic surging through him like wildfire. "Marcus, are you okay?" But even as he reached out, Marcus looked up at him, eyes wide with terror and something else, a deep, unsettling understanding. Amid the chaos, clarity struck. In that moment, Ethan realized none of this made sense. The woman's frantic warning, the men in suits, the explosion. Marcus's voice was hoarse. You don't understand. I didn't just lose my family. I lost the truth. Ethan shook his head, confusion wrapping around him like a fog. The past, present, and future twisted around them like a noose. What do you mean? He demanded, fear cracking his words. Before Marcus could respond, their surroundings erupted into deafening chaos. Bodies fell, panic erupted, and shadows lingered just outside the chaotic light. In the carnage, a piece of paper fluttered down, landing just inches from Ethan's hand. For a fleeting moment, he locked eyes with the mysterious woman, who had reappeared in the distance, desperation etched on her features. What was on that paper? What truth was hiding in the chaos? The explosion had drawn something lurking in the depths into the light. A secret that could change everything, and Ethan knew, deep down, they had only scratched the surface. Ethan and Marcus stood there, the heart of the city thumping around them. The tension crackled like static. Ethan felt a bead of sweat inch down his back. What do you mean? He pressed. The shadows of Marcus's life loomed large, a dark cloud he couldn't shake. Before Marcus could respond, the sudden shriek of sirens sliced through the night. Red lights swirled in a dizzying dance, reflecting off the glass buildings. A group of cops burst into the park, barking orders, their eyes scanning for trouble. Panic surged in Ethan's chest. What are they doing here? He whispered, glancing around. But Marcus stood rooted, his expression unreadable. They're looking for me, he said, a tremor in his voice. No, I can't go back to that. Ethan's heart raced. Back where? Then it hit him like a punch to the gut. You said, you're not just a homeless man. You're a part of it. The legacy. With a shudder, Marcus began to speak, but before he could utter another word, a towering figure emerged from the shadows. A man in an expensive black coat stepped forward, a smirk etching his cruel features. Marcus, he drawled, voice smooth like ice. There you are. I've been looking everywhere. Every cell in Ethan's body went cold. He recognized that face from headlines. The notorious rival who had destroyed Marcus's family. What do you want? Ethan shouted, anger surging within him. The man chuckled, stepping into the flickering light. You're in over your head, kid. Marcus here is a liability, and you're standing in the way of what I've built. Ethan's eyes darted to Marcus. What is he talking about? But Marcus's eyes were haunted. Not here. He grabbed Ethan's arm, urgency burning in his gaze. You don't understand. My family isn't gone. They're hidden, and he wants to silence me forever. A chill wrapped around Ethan, tightening its grip on him. Hidden? What do you mean? Your success? Marcus's voice dropped, heavy with dread. It's entwined with mine. Your father was involved in our downfall. There are things you don't know. Things that can destroy both of us. Ethan felt the ground beneath him shift. His vision trembled. No, it can't be. My father, he wouldn't. But before more words could unravel, there was an explosive bang. A loud shot echoed through the park, silencing the city. Ethan's heart stopped. He pushed Marcus down instinctively, both men tumbling onto the cold grass. Chaos erupted as people screamed, a scattering of bodies racing away from danger. could it be? Were they coming for Marcus, or were they aiming for Ethan's hidden truth? In that moment, everything changed. The night was alive with fears unfurling like wildfire. A dark figure in the distance raised a gun, their intentions clear. Ethan's mind spun. He looked at Marcus, who was gasping, eyes wide with terror. "We have to move!" But everything felt wrong. Betrayal hung thick in the air like poison. Who could he trust? As they scrambled to their feet, shadows surrounded them. Ethan felt Marcus's grip tighten on his wrist. "This is just the beginning," he breathed. "You thought you knew who you were? You have no idea what's at stake." Ethan's gut twisted. His empire, his life, was it all built on a tainted legacy? The city pulsed with danger, and they were stuck in the eye of the storm. Could they escape? Or would this darkness consume them both? They raced through the chaos, the sirens wailing and hearts pounding. The truth was sliding away, and behind them, a killer's aim sharpened, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Coins flicked in a deep well of unknown, and no one knew which would land heads or tails. Ethan's heart raced as he stood there, the weight of Marcus's words heavy in the air. The city pulsed around them, vibrant and relentless, but all he felt was the storm brewing inside him. Just then, a sudden commotion shattered the moment. A shrill scream pierced the night, cutting through the cacophony of voices and traffic. They both turned towards the sound. A woman came barreling from the shadows, her clothes torn, face streaked with dirt and fear. Her eyes wild, she stumbled toward them, arms flailing. "Help! They're coming! They're—" Before she could finish, a group of three rough-looking figures burst from the alley behind her. Their faces were obscured by hoods, but the menace was unmistakable. They moved like predators, swift and calculated. Ethan felt his skin prickle with panic. "Get down!" he shouted, instinctively pulling Marcus behind the bench. The world narrowed to a blur of noise, shouts, and the thudding of his heart. He glimpsed the woman's terror-stricken face, and something twisted inside him. Was she part of this? Or just another victim? The men reached the woman first. One of them shoved her to the ground, and the thud echoed like a gunshot in the night. "You think you can run from us?" he spat, voice slick with malice. "You can't escape what's coming for you." Ethan's mind raced. Calculating, he glanced at Marcus, his dark gaze focused, just like Ethan's, sharp and calculating, yet laced with an urge to act. "Do you know them?" Ethan whispered, urgently. Marcus shook his head slowly, eyes locked on the confrontation. "Stop! Leave her alone!" Ethan yelled, adrenaline surging. He wasn't sure where the bravery came from, but it was there, thrumming in his veins. The men laughed, a low, chilling sound. They turned toward Ethan, sizing him up like a meal yet to be savored. In that heartbeat, with the chaos swirling around them, a different kind of silence fell. The world shrank to those men, the woman, Ethan, and Marcus. And then, the twist hit like a slap. One of the assailants stepped forward, his hood falling back. It was Liam, Ethan's business partner. A wave of disbelief crashed over Ethan. "Liam! What the hell are you doing?" "Stay out of this, Ethan," Liam said. His voice steady but dripped with an authority that had once made Ethan trust him blindly. You don't know what you're messing with. Ethan felt the ground shift beneath him. The betrayal sank claws into his chest. Liam had always seemed so loyal, ambitious, the voice of reason in every strategy meeting. "What is going on?" he demanded, fury mixing with confusion. The woman struggled to her feet, desperation sparking in her eyes. "They're after me because I know what he did." Everything spiraled. "What did you do, Liam?" Ethan's voice trembled, words thick with the weight of betrayal. But before Liam could respond, the air twisted with a sharp crack, almost like thunder. A gunshot rang out. Ethan's vision blurred. He staggered backward, heart thumping in his ears. The world spun in wild colors, screams climbing higher. Marcus sprang into action, pulling Ethan out of the line of fire, even as chaos erupted. People were turning toward the scene, faces mirroring shock and fear, their lives about to collide with the truth that Ethan never wanted to see. The city held its breath, watching, waiting. In that chaos, Ethan's world shattered. As he stared at Liam, the veils of his life began peeling away. What deep, dark secrets hid beneath the surface? Who would make it out of this night alive? The weight of the unknown pressed heavily on his chest. And suddenly, the crossroads was no longer just about Ethan and Marcus. It was about survival, lies, and the intertwining fates of their worlds. Would the truth set them free, or lead them to ruin? Ethan's body tensed, heart racing as the chaos erupted around him. The gunshot echoed in his ears, and he instinctively pulled Marcus closer. They ducked, adrenaline pumping, but the air still felt thick with uncertainty. What kind of danger were they truly in? Was it just Liam? Or something far bigger? "Get down!" Liam shouted, signaling to his men. They advanced, eyes locked on the woman, desperation morphing into aggression. And for a heartbeat, everything stilled. The woman, scared but fierce, gripped the edge of the bench, her gaze flickering between Ethan and Marcus. "If you want to survive, you have to listen. There's something you both need to know." But before she could finish, the tension snapped. Another gunshot rang out. But this time, it was different. Distinct. Not aimed at Marcus or the woman, it shattered the air behind them with a sickening crack. A scream tore through the park. A bystander went down, falling to the pavement like a marionette with cut strings. Ethan whipped around. Panic spread swiftly. A ripple of horror. The crowd surged, people pushing past each other in a desperate attempt to escape the unfolding violence. Someone jumped in front of him, hands raised, eyes wide. "Stay back! Get away from them!" Was a police officer, rushing into the fray, shouting commands. But the chaos roared, drowning him out, and Ethan felt Marcus's grip tighten. "They need to know!" the woman shouted again, voice cutting through the chaos like a knife. "Before it's too late, tell us!" Ethan demanded, heart racing with anxiety as the suited men moved in closer, relentless. And then, everything changed. With blinding speed, the woman dove forward, launching herself straight at Liam. Shock rippled through Ethan as she tackled him, taking him down with a force that surprised everyone. They crashed to the ground, fists flying, chaos swirling around them like a storm. "Get the truth out, Liam!" she screamed, desperation in her voice. "They can't know what you've done." Ethan's mind raced. What did she mean? What did Liam do? He felt the ground shift beneath him as he realized that everything he thought he knew was crumbling. But just as quickly as the chaos erupted, everything suddenly shifted focus. The woman managed to pull something from the inside of her coat, glinting in the sparse light, then pressed it against Liam's chest as he struggled beneath her. "Tell him! You have to tell him!" And then it hit Ethan like a freight train. A flash of recognition. "No, it can't be," he whispered, stumbling back as the weight of the revelation engulfed him. The woman was part of it. She wasn't just a victim. She was intricately tied to the very scandal that tugged at the edges of his life. And Liam, his loyal partner, was on the other side, tangled in a web far darker than greed. "What are you talking about?" Ethan shouted, his voice cracking, desperation washing over him. "What's going on?" "That's your father's secret," she gasped, teeth gritted as she struggled with Liam. "He orchestrated it all. He's the one who set everything into motion." Ethan recoiled, disbelief flooding his veins. "No, you're lying!" But the truth hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Faces of the crowd blurred, their expression shifting from shock to horror. "Your empire isn't built on success. It's built on the ruins of my family and countless others," she screamed, her voice rising above the din. In that moment, Ethan's world reversed. Everything he'd built, every step he'd taken towards success, was twisted into something unrecognizable. Trust shattered like glass. Liam's deceit and his father's betrayal crashed together in a violent storm. "Liam, tell me it's not true," Ethan pleaded, voice breaking, the edge of reality slipping away. But all he could see was the woman, fury and pain mixed in her eyes, a fire burning with a truth that threatened to engulf them all. Was this revelation the end of everything he'd known? A reckless gamble, strewn with shadows and lies. As they stood at the cusp of chaos, Ethan felt the tremors of fate shift beneath him. Was it already too late? Ethan's world flipped inside out as the woman's words sank in. His stomach churned and the dynamic in the air changed. His empire, how could it be tied to such darkness? But then, everything escalated. The tension, thick as fog, suddenly erupted. A voice pierced the chaos, a familiar voice. "Ethan, stop!" Time froze. A figure broke through the crowd, rushing toward them. It was Grace, Ethan's sister. Panic twisted her features as she pushed through the mass of bodies, eyes wild with fear. "Grace!" Ethan shouted, relief flooding him, but it was short-lived. She skidded to a stop, fingers white-knuckled around a small object. "Get away!" she yelled, pointing at Liam, breathing heavily. "He's not who you think he is." The crowd murmured, the weight of her words hanging heavy in the air. Ethan felt a jagged pang of confusion knot in his chest. "What do you mean, Grace? What are you saying?" He needed answers, needed the space to breathe, to figure this out. But the storm only grew. Liam chuckled, an unsettling softness in his cruel smile. "Oh, aren't we all just one big, happy family?" Grace's jaw tightened. "I know what you did, Liam. I found out everything." Her gaze flicked back to Ethan, eyes sparkling with a blend of defiance and despair. "You have to believe me!" Ethan's heart thundered as he glanced between them. "Believe what? What did you find?" Your father funded the operation that took down Marcus's family, she blurted, voice trembling with emotion. Each word struck like a hammer, echoing destruction and loss. It wasn't just business. It was personal. Ethan felt his world shatter anew. His father? Funding betrayal? The weight of his family's legacy pressed down on him, suffocating. No, he whispered, disbelief flooding his senses. It can't be true. But the fire in Grace's eyes ignited doubt. She stepped closer. I have proof. They're waiting for you to show up. All of them. They need to finish what they started. I had to protect you, Liam shot back, a flicker of panic creeping into his voice. You don't understand the stakes. Suddenly, there was a crack, a sharp disturbance thrummed in the night. A group of people in dark clothing surged from the back, their faces obscured, moving with a purpose that screamed trouble. Go! Grace yelled, pulling Ethan with her. The crowd exploded into chaos once more. Fear rippled through the masses, echoing hysteria that sent waves of panic crashing against Ethan's resolve. But even as he felt the pressure to run, something in him snapped. Wait! I need to know! He wrenched free, turning back towards the chaos. Liam lunged forward, desperation clenching his fists. Ethan, don't do this! She's playing you! What is happening? Ethan shouted, desperation flooding his voice. Who can I trust? And that's when it happened. A flash of light erupted from Liam's pocket, the device that the woman had fought to keep from him. A blinding explosion once again rocked the park. Ethan shielded his eyes, a wave of pressing heat washing over him. Everything slowed. Vision narrowed. Sparks danced around him, and time felt suspended. The screams of the crowd faded. Bodies hit the ground in a wave of chaos. And suddenly, all Ethan could see was Marcus. Marcus, who had stumbled, held steady, eyes wide and locked on to Ethan. It was me! He shouted above the noise, voice straining. You've been going after the wrong enemy all along! Ethan's heart dropped. What did he mean? But just as the truth began to take root, Marcus's expression shifted to pain. A surge of power, of something dark, coursed through him, and then the unexpected happened. In an instant, the air thickened, a surreal ripple distorting everything. Suddenly, Marcus collapsed to the ground, clutching his chest, and Ethan dropped to his side. Marcus! With a gasp, Marcus whispered, You need to find it, Ethan. You're the key. Ha! Darkness enveloped him. The world swirled as Ethan grasped for understanding, but the ground crumbled beneath him. Chaos reigned. Friends blurred, enemies converged, and in that split second, a truth shattered every belief he held. Was this the end of everything he thought he knew? Had he been played from the start? It all hung in the air, heavy and unresolved. What was the key? And who could he trust now? Ethan's mind raced. The chaos of the park swirled around him, but he could only focus on Marcus, curled on the ground, gasping for air. His heart twisted at the sight. This was a man who had fought against shadows, yet here he was, on the brink of something much darker. Stay with me, Marcus, Ethan managed, his voice breaking against the noise. But Marcus shook his head, his eyes glazing over. I did it to protect you, he coughed, a harsh sound that echoed in Ethan's ears. You're the key. What do you mean? Panic surged within Ethan, adrenaline flooding his veins. He gripped Marcus's arm, willing him to stay conscious. Just then, the chaotic ring of sirens wove through the air, drawing nearer. "Find the truth, the ledger, in the basement!" Marcus gasped, but his eyelids fluttered, and Ethan felt the grip of fear tighten around his chest. "No! Don't leave me!" Ethan shouted, desperation spilling out. Just then, the fray erupted anew. Amidst the chaos, Grace charged toward them, her face a mix of fear and determination. "Ethan! Marcus! We have to move!" She reached for Marcus, but the urgency brought only painful reminders of his deteriorating condition. He glanced at Grace, her expression a blend of confusion and resolve. "We can't let them catch us. They want to erase everything. Us, the truth, everything." Liam's mocking voice filled the air, tainted with a twisted sense of satisfaction. "You think the truth will save you? It's too late for that." Ethan felt a jolt of anger at Liam's smugness. "Shut up! This isn't over!" Push came to shove, and he lunged at Liam, but Grace grabbed his arm. "Ethan, listen, there's no time. We have to go, before they—" But her voice was drowned out by a crack of thunder as the SUV reeled around, headlights piercing through the dusk. The fear in the crowd was palpable, pushing everyone into frantic movement. Ethan's instincts kicked in. He turned back to Marcus, who looked down, tears in his eyes. "Ethan, find the ledger." With that, he collapsed completely, eyes closing. "Marcus!" Ethan screamed, choking on anger and despair. But it was too late. "Move!" Grace shouted, her nails digging into Ethan's arm, dragging him back from the brink of despair. They sprinted toward an alley, weaving through the panicked crowd. Ethan stole one last glance back, watching as the suited men loomed over Marcus. Their fate sealed in that moment. Ethan refused to let the darkness claim Marcus. They skidded to a halt in the nearest alley, panting, hearts racing. "There's a hidden storage in the basement of my father's old office," Grace breathed, urgency burning in her eyes. "We can find the ledger there." Ethan's pulse raced. The ledger could hold everything. The truth that could expose it all. Let's go! In a lucha, they pushed their way through shadows and chaos, finally reaching the building. Old and worn, wrapped in memorias de betrayillo. Each step avance sentía como esteparse en piedras para la historia. Rudamente descienden el sasepóbel, caladas por la torpidez. En ese silencio, Ethan sintió el peso de los años preciosos. Now what? Ethan's voice barely broke through the heaviness. Grace stepped forward, sus manos tremiendo como ser carga cajeras. «Aquí», exclamó saliendo un folder polvera, sus orejas de manchas amarillas. This is it. Ethan's hands shook as he took it, heart-hammering. They settled onto the cold floor. The file was a treasure trove of truths, secrets of deceit, alliances, and the grim transactions that spurred it all. "No, it really was Dad," Ethan whispered, pain flooding through him. "I'm sorry, Ethan," Grace said softly, her eyes shimmering. "But we can stop this from happening again, if we expose him." As the documents illuminated their darkest fears, Ethan felt the oppressive weight of their reality. But even with the mountain of truth laid bare before them, uncertainty lingered like a shadow. Did they have the power to fight against it all? Would Marcus's sacrifice turn into fuel for their fight? The city continued buzzing above them. But one thing was clear. This wasn't over. The night still hid secrets, shadows waiting in the corners, lurking where light faded. Ethan clasped the folder to his chest, determination igniting deep within him. Whatever happens next, we will not back down. And as they emerged from the shadows of betrayal, the real fight was just beginning. You have to subscribe now! Don't miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comment section with your reactions and theories about this ending. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this ending. Don't wait even a second longer to share. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.